I don't take pleasure in wasting your time, so let's make this quick. 1 minute boss guides for the newly reworked Battle for Azeroth dungeon, the Motherlode. Starting off with the coin-operated crowd pummeler. The fight starts off with a static pulse, which knocks players back and applies a nasty dot. Healers, you're going to want to be ready for this damage, but DPS help out by using a defensive. Tanks, you're going to want to pull the boss to the edge of the room. This is important because onlookers from the crowd will toss gold into the arena, granting the boss a damage amp if he's able to suck any of them up. Being near the edge will force them to spawn a little bit more clumped up. Shortly after the coin spawn, the boss will cast Foot Bomb Launcher, placing 6 total footballs in the arena. These need to be handled immediately, and players can do so by standing near them and kicking them into the boss by clicking on them. Each bomb that connects will make the boss take 25% more damage, stacking. Just be careful to avoid the Shocking Claw frontal. This can target any player. Lastly, he will cast Coin Magnet. This will suck up any nearby coins indicated by this new beautiful animation. If the boss happens to get any coins, he will gain a sizable damage increase. At this point, the fight just rinses and repeats. This beefy Rockman is mostly an ad control fight. You'll notice upon pulling that there's 2 ads starting off the encounter. These can be CC'd, but if left uncontrolled, they will fixate a random player and apply a stacking bleed upon any successful melee hits. Anyways, this fight will immediately start with a frontal, which can be casted at any player. Just be sure to avoid it. Shortly after this, Azerokk will empower the highest health ad with Azerite, causing them to take 200% more damage and causing them to focus the tank instead of fixating. It's important that all DPS focus this ad down, since if the boss does happen to finish his Resonant Quake cast while this ad is active, it's most likely going to be a group wipe. Regardless if there's an empowered ad still alive, this cast will do sizable group damage, so healers be ready for this, and DPS use a defensive. This cast will also leave a pool on the ground, so tanks, do your best to reposition the boss. The last thing worth noting is that if there are no ads alive, Azerokk will respawn up to 2 ads. If there's still an ad alive, he will spawn 1. So control the ads the best you can and make sure you always prioritize the empowered ad. Rixxa Fluxflame is a pretty simple encounter. The fight's going to start off with Gushing Catalyst, which will fill a large portion of the room with Azerite. Shortly after this, Fluxflame will target a random non-tank player with Azerite Catalyst, raining down 3 additional pools. This needs to be positioned near the previously spawned Azerite. Next, she will then target players with a back-to-back Propellant Blast, dealing high damage over time to those targeted players while pushing them back. This though will also clear Azerite from the room. Players should do their best to strafe back and forth to clear as much as possible. The last thing worth mentioning is that during all of this, the boss is going to just be doing some periodic damage through searing reagents. Healers just need to make sure they're spot healing any of this damage, but overall, it's a pretty lackluster boss fight. Razdunk has had a few updates over the PTR cycle. Unfortunately, Blizzard has added a door to this encounter, so all players need to make sure they're inside of the room. This fight will start off with a homing missile. This ability tends to prioritize ranged players, but it seems that Blizzard has adjusted this to target anyone. Make sure you are standing far enough away from the boss so you don't cleave any of your party members. Shortly after this, the boss will cast Gatling Gun. This will always target the tank, but it will rotate a full 360 degrees in either direction, so players should be paying attention to this. My biggest tip is not to stand in the boss's hitbox during this. While avoiding homing missiles and this Gatling gun, players will also need to be paying attention to the bombardments that are casted from the bomba heads that are traveling around the room. Once the boss hits 50%, he will go immune and spawn 2 ads, and 3 rockets. Players will want to get out of this phase as quickly as possible. If you happen to have an arrow over your head, this means the boss is going to try to trample you, so standing near one of the rockets will destroy it instead. You'll need to destroy all 3 of these before the boss enters phase 1 again. Once you do this and the ads are dead, simply repeat the mechanics of phase 1 until the boss falls. And that just about covers it. Congratulations on completing the Motherlode. A massive shout out to all my Patreon supporters, because without their support, I wouldn't be able to make content like this. So thank you. Best of luck, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.